Very, very, very interesting. 1 second. Let's get live all over this great land of ours on YouTube, on social media. What's good, everybody? Welcome into the last word, part of the BTT universe. Monday Night Raw just went to close with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso standing strong, shaking hands at least for 7 more days until they will go at it in the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot went down, and a horrible, at least it looks like a horrible injury to a top star tonight. If you want to be a part of the show, you have a question, you have a comment, you want to be heard, you can do it via a super sticker or a donation to the show. We'll bring you right up onto the show. Now, as always, I don't do this show by myself. Let's bring him in. Let's start with over 32 years inside of the WWE. Big Tommy C, what's good, man?
What's happening, Coach? What's happening, Gabby? Let's get this thing going tonight, man. I'm ready.
She is all over the universe lately. It's hard just to get her locked down for a show. Gabby LaSpisa, what's good?
Nothing, Coach. I miss you. You weren't here last week. We were talking without you. It's good to have you back for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm back for one night, then I'm wheels up tomorrow. I'm going back, guys. I started my career in Wichita, Kansas. 40 miles from my hometown. That's where I'm going tomorrow. I'll get to see Papa Coach, Mama Coach, my brother, who I haven't seen in a year since Christmas, well, 6 months. So it's going to be pretty cool. So you guys will see me ESPN, 8:30 on Friday night. Don't miss it.
I will be watching.
You may have heard of ESPN.
Happy belated Father's Day to both of you guys.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I actually went to a play on Father's Day. I went to a play with my daughter and then played a little golf with my son.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was very cool. All right, let's get to it. Because tonight, I don't know. We're going to start with the ladies. That's for damn sure. We're not going to start with the main event. So, Gabby, I got to come over to you because normally I would start with Becky and Bayley because that was kind of fire. But unfortunately, and you rarely see it, a devastating, I think it was a dislocated shoulder. Some people online are saying dislocated shoulder. But Liv, about 2 minutes into her match, went down and tried to catch herself with an elbow. You see the elbow kind of shake. And if it's a dislocated shoulder, she's going to be out for a little bit of time. That's not a minor injury by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and I mean, we just got her back too. She was filming that movie and we were kind of anticipating her coming back, and now she's back, and to be out with an injury kind of sucks because like we had mentioned, this is Liv Morgan. This isn't a small feat to the women's division. I know they're doing storylines around her with the Judgment Day, with Raquel and Roxanne kind of brewing. So I wonder how they're going to pivot if she does have to take some time out. That's where I'm a little concerned.
It really is because and it was funny because Corey Graves made it, and this is where I get a little frustrated when you're talking storylines blend with real life. Tommy, I don't know if you heard before she got hurt. She was talking about basically Dom, how should I put this? Taking care of business, I should say, with Liv, when we just saw him on Stephanie McMahon's podcast talking about his real life wife. Let's make this make sense. But for Liv, she's a vital part of that storyline. She's a vital part of the storyline with Roxanne and the Judgment Day. So if she's out, that's got to change a lot of what they want to do because she's so good with that character and it's so believable now.
Yeah, she's so believable. She's so good. And you saw her reactions. They played it in slow motion. As soon as her arm hit, man, that was a shoot. There was no work in there, man. She was really hurt. She couldn't move after that out of the ring. But she's so good, Coach. And they're starting the backstage with Judgment Day after Raquel had her match, and she said, "Are you ready?" "Oh, I'm not cleared yet," and she walked out. So it seemed like she was creating a little heat with Raquel. She doesn't like Roxanne, so they had a little couple storylines going there. If she's got a dislocated shoulder, what it looks like it is, everything changes at this point. And where do you go from there with a main talent like that who's gotten so good backstage and in the ring? It is just unbelievable. She's a big part of this whole storyline, and it'll just go away for a while.
It's unfortunate, and it really, really sucks. And this is why in the old days they had downside guarantees. I don't think they have those anymore. You get a straight salary. But back in the day, Gabby, you'd say you're making $250, and then you were getting paid for every house show, every show, and they would just add it up over the course of the year. And then at the end of the year, if you made more than $250, you're good. If you made less, then they would write you a check. But it protected you from injury, just like in the NFL. And it just sucks because she's on such a roll. She's doing so many things, and she can work with really anybody right now. And I think that's what they're going to miss the most, Gab.
I mean, my biggest concern right now is what we saw last week with her and Nikki Bella, and they're going to write up this whole storyline now, I think, for Evolution, which is just a month away. And, you know, the rumors that Brie's going to come back. They're going to do a tag title match between Liv and Raquel against the Bellas, which would be epic. Now, what do you do in this situation? How do you kind of reroute that? Because that segment last week was so great between her and Nikki Bella. So if that was the plan moving forward, how are you going to switch that up to make it as meaningful as it could be for a pay-per-view like Evolution?
I was thinking about that as well. By the way, does it confuse anybody else that the WWE is calling a pay-per-view Evolution when the greatest faction, or one of the greatest factions of all time, was also called Evolution? Do we have no more creativity? I know it's been years, but I still don't understand how they came to that decision years ago. Because Triple H talked about it last week, and I thought he was talking about Randy Orton and Ric Flair. He was talking about the girls, right?
Yep.
And I really think, Tommy, that I've been thinking about this a lot. I think that Netflix has been talking to Triple H and the creative, and I think they want to lean into more women-based programming. So bringing back Nikki Bella, Brie Bella. I've heard Trish Stratus is going to come back for Evolution. So all these things. Also, I've heard, because Chelsea Green did an interview, that they're in talks to bring Total Divas back and put it on Netflix instead of E! Entertainment TV. I love Total Divas. So if that's the case, I think that's a really good idea.
Man, and Chelsea's got to be on that show, right?
Gotta be.
I mean,
Oh my God.
gotta be.
Are you kidding?
She's so friggin' entertaining.
Do you know how good Total Divas be now? Oh, so good.
Her, Liv Morgan. Oh my God, they tear the place apart, man.
But here's what would happen though, Tommy, because Total Divas, they follow their real life. And the real life of Dom is he has a real wife. And I know I bring this up every like 3 or 4 weeks, but if we're going to be all entertainment, then you can't do interviews with your real wife and then go around kissing Liv as if you don't really have a wife in real life. But they could get around that. It's okay.
Yes.
And I'm sure Nia will be just as bad on Total Divas as she was the last. No, I'm kidding.
They made her so bad on it.
They did.
Such a bad edit.
They did.
But it made me love Natty. That's why I fell in love with Natty, was Total Divas, because she was like the vet mom. Like, I learned about pro wrestling because of Total Divas. When I got my first job in wrestling at SiriusXM, they said, "What do you know about pro wrestling?" I said, "Nothing. I watched Total Divas, though."
Boom.
So, and you know how many people are going to get into it because of a show like that? You can't even.
They want.
Ridiculous.
I think there's more with Total Divas and the shows on A&E, LFG, and those than if they add another wrestling show. I don't need to see another wrestling show. Give me one of those. We do have our first super sticker. Tyler B says, "Hey, guys, and that were you excited to see Goldberg return 9 months later because Gunther said Bret Hart had better matches, Jay winning the belt back?" Well, we'll get to Goldberg in a second, so hold that phone, Tyler. Kimberly White, you can also, I forgot to mention, if you guys are a premium member, we'll read yours also. Kimberly, you're a brand new premium member. Thank you very much. Welcome. Buy someone a dictionary, whatever that means. Thank you. So let's stay with the women for a second. Then we'll get to Goldberg and Gunther. And I don't care what you guys say. I am taking credit for the best promo that Bayley has had in years tonight on the show. Don't think for a second that my quotes, mostly taken out of context, didn't get back to her when I said that her character, not her character was a little stale, was a little old, didn't bring anything to the table. I said that. I own it. But then tonight, did you see her, Gabby? Did you not think, I got Coach in the back of my head? This is what Coach said about me, and she comes out and she delivers. So universe, wrestling fans, just say thank you and go about your day. That's what Gabby, why are you looking like that?
Because you got problems.
Is it so far-fetched? Is that so far-fetched?
I think even before you came out and said what you said and things got misconstrued, I think the trolls have been after Bayley for a long time about her booking and not being high on her. So I think she took all that negativity, maybe you involved, and maybe, you know, whatever got taken out of context by what you said. I think the negativity just amplified times 10. And that's what was driving her tonight. So were you part of it? Probably. I don't know that you're the sole reason, Coach.
Do you not know me? One of the great heels of all time? Getting under... Tommy, Now
Yes.
she's just ruining my flow. She's just ruining my flow. Tommy, do you agree with me that tonight when she came out before Becky came out and she had that venom, she had that fire, it just screamed, "Thank you, coach, for lighting a fire under me." In fact, I'm going to look at Twitter right now. I bet she's probably put something out there to say thank you to me. Go ahead, Tommy, while I look for my thank you.
Coach, the quote machine calls it again. And I got to tell you, I am finally invested in Bailey because that promo was excellent. And it got reality based when the other one came in the ring, Becky Lynch. And I liked the side of Becky. I even liked her backstage pre tape. And that was really good. I'm like getting invested in Bailey now. I like the new attitude. I liked her coming in last week. So whether it's coach, giving her the advice or whoever's doing it, keep it going, Bailey, because I'm definitely invested in Bailey and Becky right now.
All right, so I just got in real time. You guys know I've just been breaking news left and right. And I have yet, when it's in context, I have yet to be wrong. So I just found out there's a name, a female name out there that is this close to signing with the WWE. Any guesses?
The one from AEW, Britt Baker.
Ding, 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 ding. Gone from AEW. Close. My sources keep coming to your boy.
Interesting.
Now, I think she would. What do you think, Gab? Do you think she would? Would they waste the debut like they did with what is it? The Monroe? What's her name? The new girl, blonde.
Mariah.
Well, why they even waste her on NXT? Put her on the main roster. My God, she looks like $1 million. She looks like a superstar. Why are we doing it in front of 300 fans at NXT?
But I mean, I think what they've done with Roxanne and Julia and Stephanie Vaquer so far has been great, and they all started in NXT, so I don't want to count them out for that yet because they built them up and put them on the main roster in a good way. So I think it's fine what they're doing because NXT, they're not keeping them there for too long where they're being wasted away. And then when they bring them on the main roster, they have video packages for them. They tell their story a little bit. Because if you're not watching AEW, there's a lot of people that don't know what's going on between both because they're so hardened on one company and not the other, coach.
Do you know why I think they're doing it? So they don't have to pay them full roster money when they come over. That's why I think they're doing it. And I hate to be petty like that. I hate to say that TKO's being petty like that. But if you look at Blake, and you just jump, if you just land off of Mars, Gabby, and you just look at her and you say, look at everybody else, you're telling me if you put her on Raw and SmackDown and you write some good promos for her that she wouldn't fit right in from the jump? I know those other four have done a great job. I know that. But this was an opportunity to fit her right in. Maybe challenge Becky, maybe challenge Charlotte, something.
I could see both sides. I honestly see both sides. I think it makes sense how it happened. I liked her debut. I thought her promo was perfect because it was what she said. You know, the name change, all that kind of stuff. I think they're doing it well so far, so I don't want to count it out. But you're right. It could have got a huge pop, but also it could have not. What if it didn't? And now she's on the main roster flinging around with these big names, and she, you know, there's nothing for her to do up there.
Well, right now, because to me, I wish they would just hire me to come in and just work on promos with these girls.
Yeah.
Because Lyra last week got so exposed. It's so obvious she is not ready verbally to be on the main roster. You could almost see her reading back her promo in her head as she was trying to deliver it to one of the greatest of all time, Becky Lynch. So, Tommy, right now, with all of this that we've talked about and Evolution coming, do you think they're making the necessary changes in the women's division to go where they need to go?
Yeah, I think they have to, coach, and I think they're starting to do that now. And if it's true that Britt Baker is signed with WWE, that's a pretty big thing. She was a pretty big thing at AEW. I don't know what happened over there. I don't think things got crossed with her and TK or what, but she was a top talent for a long time when they first started out there. So I think it's a big coup for WWE to get her. Now, whether she starts out in NXT or if it's Raw, or I'd bring it to the main roster right away because she's ready, man, big time ready.
She is so ready. She's got the built-in storyline, and she got buried because she pushed back. She bitched about what was going on, and you know, in wrestling, you can't do that. You can't do that. All right. So I've made Gabby happy, and I started by talking with the women. You're welcome, Evolution. You're welcome, Divas. Now, speaking of divas, and I hope he's watching right now because he was the biggest diva I ever worked with, but I loved him. And tonight he came out and we got a little, "You're next." Goldberg and Gunther. Gabby, how excited are you to watch a 72-year-old man go toe-to-toe with the world heavyweight champion in 3 weeks?
Listen, I feel like everyone is not happy about this and they're, making their jokes and like doing whatever. I I don't hate it. Like I'm not here going nuts like some other people are flipping out. And like I think it is what it is. We knew it was coming. It'll happen and then it'll be gone and we'll just be like that was a thing that happened. Like Goldberg is Goldberg. I like him. I think he's entertaining. I don't know the history of like I didn't watch Goldberg in his prime to like know things. So it's different for me. I just see a veteran that and I'm just like, "Oh, it's cool. It's to bring a veteran back and like get the hype for it." So like I see it probably differently than like Tommy sees it for sure.
Wow, Tommy, why are you catching strays tonight from Gabby? I can't
No,
quite figure that
because
out.
we had this conversation a little bit last
Yeah.
week that I'm not interested in seeing Goldberg come back one iota. I hate guys who are retired and they come back. It's like bringing the Eli Manning back to the New York Giants, which I would love right now. But here's the deal, Coach. And it's I don't even think they said it was a retirement match here. Are they going to say that, or is this for the? Did Michael Cole say it was for the championship?
No,
I saw the graphic come up.
I think they've got to make stipulations in the next couple of weeks. That's coming. That's coming. I think.
Yeah, well,
So
it
I didn't
ain't
mean
gonna
to
be
ruin
no
your
high
flow.
flying action. I'll tell you that. It's gonna be all ground and pound between him and Gunther. And you know what, Coach? You're probably gonna hate this, but Gunther has grown on me a little bit. I'm starting to like him.
He said this
I'll
last week.
I'll get back to Gunther in a second. When I think of Goldberg, everybody, because Gabby, you might be a little young for Goldberg, but let me give you a little history lesson
Yes.
on the reason Goldberg was so popular. Nobody made more money, got more over, and worked less time in the ring than Goldberg.
Interesting.
His walk to the ring was longer than his matches. It was the yeeting before there was yeeting. And he would start back. You've seen his entrance, though, right, Gabby? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about,
Yeah.
right? It was one of the great creatives of all time, and I think he went 164-0, something like that. And it was like 5-second matches. So there was a time, Gabby, and it may or may not have been the main event of Raw. I can't remember. It could have been main event of SmackDown, but I got put in a match against Goldberg, and I was trying to be slick, so I enlisted Mark Henry to do my dirty work. So I set up on the corner. I got a little bit cocky. I kind of lost where I was a little bit. And once Mark got thrown over the top rope, your boy was nowhere to go. And I may or may not have been flipped all the way to the other side of the ring on my back, got up, took a spear, got up, took a pump handle, hold him up there forever, twist all the way around. Hopefully I don't get dizzy. Boom! Praying all 4 limbs were moving afterwards. And they were. So I almost got him. So maybe I'll show up for a little payback because I never got to go back against him.
I would like that.
There's a few guys on my list. Goldberg, Cena. I still got to put Cena through a table. Don't think for a second, Tommy.
That's a long list. You got a long list, Coach, or short list?
It's funny. I never got over on these guys. I can't figure that stuff out. All right, tell me why Gunther's getting over on you, because I've got to be convinced. You
know why? Because he's straight and to the point now. He doesn't fool around. He is what he is, and that's what he is. He's a ground and pound wrestler. He's not a big glorified guy that's going to cut a promo like Cody Rhodes or The Rock. He cuts a promo. He's straight with it, and you know what? He respects the other superstar, and I like that. There's not a lot of heels that do that. I like when he does that. He respects the other superstar, and he's good in the ring. He looks good. He's sharp. He's definitely grown on me in the past couple months, Coach, and that's the reason why.
Gabby, if they're going to build him up to be a killer, if Gunther's going to be a killer, they've got to destroy Goldberg in this match. And I don't know that Goldberg would want to do that. That's why I'm fascinated. They decided this was the matchup that they were going to go with. Are you surprised?
I mean, I'm not surprised because we saw what happened with his kid a while back. So I kind of knew they were always going to bring a receipt for it at some point. But I almost think it's like a filler until they figure out who's next for Gunther. And I don't like that feeling of watching something knowing this isn't going to be that kind of feud. Like obviously the Gunther Jay feud was not a filler. Like that was a real feud that was going on. So we watched it like I got emotionally invested in that. Like I'm not going to find myself emotionally invested in Goldberg Gunther. I'm just going to take it for what it is and then let's move on. And I don't like going into matches knowing that. Like it kind of stinks watching a match like that. You know what I mean?
It does. And if they make it for the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm going to lose my mind because there's going to be a David Arquette situation. I mean, there's only some real non-full-time workers that were champions that were solid in the history of wrestling. I may have been one of them, but hey, I can't talk about me all night.
There he is.
Oh, there it is right there.
Go
Producer
ahead.
man, I did not tell you to grab it. So, Gabby, what do you think is going on through my mind at that point when he's got me by the collar?
You're thinking all of your life choices. How did they lead you to this moment? What did I do to be in this moment right now in my life, being choked out by Goldberg?
So it is for the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah,
I guess I missed that.
Yeah, it is.
I was turning it up and turning it down. Okay, so that makes it even worse. By the way, I was looking down at Mark Henry. I was like, dude, you're the world's strongest man. Help a
Thanks
brother
for the
out.
help.
Okay, so I was turning it up and down because I'm leaving for 2 weeks and I was having dinner with my kids, so I missed that. That makes it even worse. Why would you make it for the World Heavyweight Championship? You know, if he does beat him, the fans are going to shit all over it, and you're almost 60 years old. You're really going to beat a guy in his prime that's a World Heavyweight Champion? It's not believable, Tommy. It's not. Why would they do this? Why do you think?
I think it's a hot shot. They're going right against that main event is going against AEW All In. They got a big time name there in Goldberg going against Gunther for the title, and they think they're going to pull people from that pay-per-view from AEW. That's the only reason why, Coach. They're going head to head that night with one of the AEW's biggest pay-per-view in Texas Stadium where the Rangers play. It's called All In, July 12th, and we got Saturday's main event in Atlanta where Goldberg is from. The crowd will be hot, and they will want him to win. I don't think it'll happen. And if it does happen, where do you go from here? And you make Gunther look like a big jabroni, by the way.
It's a lose-lose.
You can't. It's a lose-lose for everybody.
By the way, speaking of petty, did you guys see the pre-sale code to buy tickets for that night for WWE?
No.
Pre-sale code is all WWE.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
What a
you
shot.
talk about petty. Petty. Yeah. Now, speaking of petty, there is sound out there from Rikishi, who is one of the father figures of the bloodline of the Usos. How many of those Samoans are there? And he is not happy with the short title run of his boy, 51 days in Jey Uso. And he mentioned the merch. And what did we see tonight, guys? A brand new shirt. What was it? One word, 4 letters, or 4 letters, one word?
4 letters,
4 letters, one word.
Something like that.
Every week they come out with something new. It kind of reminds me of The Rock. When Rock was red hot, for a while he had a different shirt every week in every city, but that was finally The Rock has come back to whatever city he was in.
Yeah.
But think about how many T-shirts you got to sell to make those in specific cities. I mean, he was red hot. Right now, Gabby, Jay is still red hot. Rikishi's dad, I think he has a point. They disrespected him, and I think moving forward, all of us are going to think a little bit less of Jay because of how short that title reign was. Will you?
I don't think any less of him because of how short it was. Because like I said, he's not, and this is how I always feel about the talent. They're not writing their stories. And I think it's interesting that he all of a sudden became the mystery opponent for the King of the Ring tournament. Now, my curiosity is, are they going to be like, yeah, well, you lost that title, but we'll make you King of the Ring. So it kind of will even out. So you still got something, even though you don't have the title anymore, and we took it off you as quickly as we did. Like, I don't know if that's how they think about these things, but I mean, it could be. I've never worked there like you guys have to know if that's how they kind of even things out in their minds.
I don't know, Gabby. I'm confused, and I've been in those meetings, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And I don't want to see the Unreal show, but it's decisions like this that make me want to see the Unreal show. Ugh. It makes me want to see when the cameras go into the writer's room, and everybody thinks that Triple H is going to be in the room for the entire show. Vince did not write the show back in the day. He had a full thing of writers, and he would look at it at the end. I believe that Triple H is probably, Tommy, I would imagine, in the same type of role. I can't imagine he's in the room 4 or 5 hours a day writing the damn shows. Do you?
No, not at all. He's outside the office. He's got a million other things to do. He's got to worry about Nick Khan being on his back or something like that. No, he's not. He gets to see it that by the end of the day or ever how he works it out with the writers. I'm sure there's no way he's sitting there 5 hours. Oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Oh, I like that. No way, coach. That's not happening.
The way it looks like to me is Jay's going to be part of storylines and not a part of title runs. The reason I say that is they had to build him up for 4 months, and then they take it away from him like that. So do you think any of us are going to believe, Gabby, that if he goes up against Gunther or goes up against Cody, or no, now Cena, and it's Cody and him next week, that it's going to be believable that we think Jay is going to climb the top of the mountain again so soon, or even in a year? I think they backed themselves into a corner. And for Jay, I've heard rumors that they're going to go back to a tag team with Jimmy, because Jimmy's been on the outside looking in for months and years. So I feel like Jay is kind of being used as the scapegoat in this whole situation.
I really hope that's not the case, because I think what they did with Jay happened so organically. Like the Yeet thing just came, and it wasn't like forced. It wasn't something that was like, we're going to throw this guy at you. We want you to love him. Make sure you love him and chant for him. He became like a people's champion, and starting off in the crowd and the kids and all that kind of stuff. So I hope it's not just going to be like, thanks for your time, Jay. Back to what you were doing, because I don't think that's fair for him. I know you don't like those words, fair and deserved and stuff, but like, as someone who's emotionally invested, that's how I feel about it, as someone who's worked as hard as he has and built this, great Yeet following. It would be a shame to just let it fizzle and like never try to keep it going as long as it possibly can.
You know what I would do if I was Jay? And I think it's kind of backfired with Cena just a little bit, but Ron Killings, I'm buying into this. Hey, leave me alone. You guys saw him busted open the other day. He's like, making fun of Dave and yelling at.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. He was completely in his new character on the show, and he was pissed off. He was not happy. And Tommy, what if this would probably cost him merch and probably cost him that great entrance, but what if he reacted in a realistic way? Because if the three of us had that opportunity and they took it away after 51 days, what would our normal reaction be to that?
Yeah. It'd be a big FU.
Yeah, you're going to be pissed off. So you're not going to come out and keep yeeting like you're the happiest person on planet Earth when they took the biggest prize in the business away from you. You're pissed off. You want to do everything in your power to get it back. That's what I wish I saw from Jey Uso. Not the guy that's just coming out there still doing his thing and, oh, hey, Corey, you going to do Yeet tonight with Pat McAfee? And on the other side, Seth Rollins, they're doing new music. Why are they doing that? So the fans don't do the sing-along anymore. You can't sing along with a heel. And so why they're not ahead of the game, I don't know. But, Gabby, I can't wait unless I miss it tonight. But I like the way they're taking Seth. He came out tonight, and there was no coming out in music. He came straight down. He got in the ring. He was all business, and that's what a good heel does.
100%. It was smart what they did. I love that they brought Cody out too, because it showed, good versus evil. I don't, it is true, because it is interesting. Cody came out to save Jay. And I was, you're talking about, you want to see Jay kind of be angry. Like, I hated that we didn't get to hear from Jay from losing. He just automatically had to be in a match for something. So it was like he cried when he won. It was this whole emotional thing, this whole journey for him. And then as quickly as it happened and it was taken away, it's like, all right, well, business up. Go into a match tonight and be yourself. And then, oh, yeah, and by the way, at the end, when everyone's going to attack you, you got to get saved again by Cody Rhodes because you can't handle it yourself.
That is an interesting way to look at it, and I think it's the right way to look at it. And it's how you're being, what we call in the business, everybody, how you're booked and how your book matters. You can still win even if you lose, but you can also lose even if you win. And I feel like right now, no matter what they do with Jay, I think he's got to have like a really nasty last man standing, something to where we see a completely different side of Jey Uso, and not against Gunther, because Gunther's style does not bring out the best in other people, certainly not Jay. But I need to see Jay have a completely other side because, Tommy, to me, there's no other way that he can get the fan base back with him other than the kids that love to eat. And if I just have 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids with me, then that's going to run out at some point. It just will.
Yeah, it'll run out. Jay's in a predicament, right? I mean, here's a guy, and hearing from Rikishi himself, his father saying, and we know from the business coach, when you got the top merch sales, you're usually on top. And when you win the title, you stay on top and your merch sales even double. It's not like his merch sales went up when he won the title. He had it 6 months before that, coach. So something regressed somewhere with Jay getting the title, Triple H seeing this, forecasting Goldberg coming on, knew he wanted to do something different. And Jay's just he's in a weird predicament now because even after he lost the title, after the show was over, he got out and cut a promo, and he wasn't even upset. Like, he wasn't even upset that you just lost the title.
I know, because his son was in the ring, and I know. It's
mind-boggling, Coach.
It really is.
It's in a weird
really
situation
is.
with him. It's weird. And now he's got to face Cody.
Right.
So it's going to be, and they shook hands tonight. At least they did it on the air instead of all the BS that they've been doing off the air.
Yeah.
Speaking of off the air, did you guys see this? It was actually a really cool shoot, but it was completely the wrong person to do it. Did you guys see the video of Triple H announcing the return of WrestleMania to Las Vegas, standing on the top of the football stadium?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So ask me this. So every time I see him do something, I always say, what would Vince have done? Would Vince have ever gone up on top of a football stadium and said, me, 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 me? Now, the behind the scenes was great. They had three or four drones. The shoot was amazing. But why wouldn't you use that opportunity, Gabby, to have Cody or Jay or anybody? Because that was an unbelievably cool spot to be in. Use one of your talent to get them over.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to do that anymore. I have a real issue with that. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you're trying to build these stars. You're trying to make it not like must-watch TV for these people, and now you don't even have them headlining the video for WrestleMania. So, I do get it. And you want to know something interesting, Coach, that I have seen a lot of comments on since that came out was people were like, and listen, I don't know if this is BS or whatever. People are like, who knows? Triple H might be the one to end it for Cena at the end of this year. Imagine that being, he comes back in to the ring.
Oh, can
I was
you
gonna send you some of these
imagine?
memes because I thought you would flip.
I am flipping right now.
I know.
He almost died. He almost died as a shoot. He almost died. Oh my God! If he ended, if he has anything to do with this, this will show how gigantic his ego truly is.
I don't know. Do you think it's all his decision though, or are people telling him to do these things and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm wondering if they're feeding him to do it as well though, and saying it'll be better if you do it, yeah, for sure. And he's like, okay, I don't know.
Here's what I think it is. It is him trying to stay relevant in everybody's eyes, look like a star, because that shoot, he looked like a gigantic star.
Yeah.
I mean, all three of us would. I mean, it was super, super cool.
Yeah.
And you saw WrestleMania. You were out there. He had his own entrance while Bret Hart and Steve Austin did not have their own entrance at WrestleMania. He was in the Hall of Fame for the third freaking time when he could have said, nope, I'm already in twice. I'm good. I can only wear so many rings on my hand. It gets to a point because in wrestling, Gabby, the egos are so big and they want to put themselves over. When he used to come to meetings back in the day, he went from wearing blue jeans and the black leather jacket. And one day, I kid you not, all of a sudden the door opens and he walks in a three-piece suit, just like Vince. And all of us looked over at him like he had three heads, like we were seeing a ghost. Because the boys were not allowed in the meeting because the boys will always put themselves over.
Yeah.
That's why when somebody says, I was a 16-time world champion. No, they decided you were going to be a 16-time world champion. So Triple H, as much as I like him, always got along great with him, he's always put himself over. Always. So he's doing it now as the head of creative. Now is when you step back and you say, how many other stars can I make? I've had my time. I've had my time. That's what
Yeah.
I would do. And I'd
Yep.
get more fulfillment out of that, Tommy, if I
Yep.
made you a star, Gabby a star, and everybody else a star, because I've already felt that.
Yep. You're absolutely right, Coach. He's the guy that wants to make this announcement. I'm the boss. We're bringing it back to Vegas. I'm the guy standing on top of the roof. It was for me. I'm telling you, it would be entertaining as hell if Cody and Jay did it. If Cody and Jay did it, it would be friggin' hilarious with him yeeting because they have a great relationship
Yeah.
and they know how
Yep.
to make each other crack up and have a couple of pops beforehand, and it gets really funny. No, I'm serious because nobody would even know that. But with them two doing it, and Triple H can observe it. Why does he need to be the forefront of everything? I totally agree with you. I love Triple H. I worked with him a lot on a lot of different things. Great guy, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, but the ego was a little large.
I don't know that I necessarily fault him because when you're dealing with that much money, guys, when you make millions and millions and millions, and he's the only one of the executives that's not on the list as far as the financials are concerned. It's about a position. I remember one time I was talking to Vince McMahon. He used to tip the guys who would grab the bags and put it into the private jet. $100 for 4 guys twice a week, going out and going back. So he tipped $800 a week just in tips. So I remember asking him one time, I was like, Vince, why do you still come to these, every single week? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? You got all the money in the world. And he looked at me and says, Coach, you got to have purpose. He goes, you can only count your money for so long. And that always stuck with me. And when I look at Triple H now, I see a guy that's trying to stay in the mix when all the money guys are on one side, the Aries, the Rocks, and Rock getting $45 million to not show up. You don't think, guys, that pisses Triple H off? That he gets $45 million and we have not seen hide nor hair of the great one since the Elimination Chamber. Every week that goes by, Gabby, don't you believe that there's more and more going on? Because you don't bring a dude on and pay him $45 million if you don't think and ask him to do something in a major way.
Right. And not only that, go on shows and talk about how, oh yeah, we didn't plan this until this time, and like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
that's what he's doing on the side. So the appearances he is making aren't helping either. So 100% it makes sense, but this is why, and this always comes back to the one issue that I have and we talk about all the time is they're not making stars. They're not making someone that in 10 years will be looked at as big as The Rock or Cena or doing these things. And that's what's unfortunate. If these guys aren't on the ticket for something, who's showing up to see these other people? And they don't see that as a problem. And I think it's a big issue. I really
I think you're dead on. I think you're absolutely spot on. And you're starting to see the last couple of weeks, am I right? Where guys are on both shows, Raw and
Yeah.
SmackDown. But we had somebody email me and Vince, and we had it on the Coach and Bro show last night, live on Stadium every Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern time. And it was basically June 30th, Raw's in Pittsburgh. Have you guys seen the ticket prices for Raw
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
There's over $1,000 front row, singles all over the place, 700, 800, 900 for a regular Raw. And it's like, what are we doing? And you're going to pay or ask somebody to pay that amount of money to watch a guy that's not a star. I think I've told you the story many times. I had a room on the road. We worked on character development every single week, every single building, every single city. And we also had house shows to work on those same things.
Yeah.
And right now, you've got guys that clearly are not working matches other than the one they work. They're gassing out because their cardio is not where it needs to be. And then you're seeing injuries because a lot of these talent just aren't putting their bodies through what they need. You saw it tonight with Liv. Injuries are a reason or are a consequence of not working a lot of matches and not putting your body through that. And I think now, Gabby, you make a great point. Name somebody that you can say, you know what? He or she is going to be on the MSG marquee in 5 years to sell out Madison Square Garden. I don't know that you have. I'm saying in 5 years, Roman Reigns will be retired by then. Cody Rhodes, who knows? So who's going to be the next guy? Who's going to be in LFG? I can't name one right now.
Yeah.
I can't name one right now.
No, and that's what's wrong with the product, Coach. There's no house shows anymore. Like you said, you guys work stuff out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Pay-per-view was coming in. Those guys would have a match at the house show to make sure what was right. The producers were there. They traveled also. cutting a promo, teaching how to cut a promo in front of a crowd instead of live TV. And that's one of the major problems of the programming that airs on USA and Netflix. There's no house shows to practice this stuff.
No doubt about it. Every time I hear Mark Shapiro goes, "Oh, we don't see any reason why we need house shows. We're not charging enough for tickets." Everything they're doing, and again, I would love to be in these meetings to hear them all talk with each other, because the disconnect for me is getting wider and wider by the week. And I think, Gabby, it also goes back to why Triple H is doing a lot of this. He's one of the last OGs. He's one of the last Vince disciples. I firmly believe that at his core, Triple H would love to have 4 house shows a week. He would love to have all the stuff that we used to do. But he's not. You can't fight 10 guys. You can't fight the powers that be. He's got to try to keep his job. And because think about this, Gabby. What would Triple H? His life is wrestling. He doesn't like anything else. Every time he talks about something else, you're like, you don't know shit about basketball, football, baseball, nothing. What else would Triple H do? He ain't gonna go work with Tony Khan.
Right.
So what would he do if he wasn't here? I think that keeps him up at night.
I'm sure it does. I don't know how it wouldn't if that's what your whole life has been. He's married to Stephanie too. You know what I'm saying? You can't even go home and escape it at the end of the day, because that's in your family. It's in your blood. It's everywhere you go. I couldn't imagine him doing anything else. But, it is interesting to think about what a WWE would look like without him, because I can't see it, and I hope that never happens, but it's definitely a different WWE that I'm watching now than I was watching even just say a year ago. It feels very different when it comes to stars and people that make me care to watch all the time. It feels very repetitive of the same cycle of the same people. And that scares me if I'm young and I'm going to be watching for a while, who am I going to continue to care about in the years to come that won't be there anymore?
And if I'm a kid at home or a youngster that wants to be a wrestler, there has never been a better time.
Yeah.
If you are charismatic and you can create a good character and learn how to work, you can be a gigantic star right now. By the way, a little super sticker. The Great One says, "Hey, Coach, I'm showing up over here." Yes, Great One, you are in the chat. Thank you very much. All right, do not forget, if you are a premium member, and I'm seeing more and more show up in the chat. So we're going to be adding a lot more content as well. So thank you to all who have become premium members. We will have a live taping of the War Room as soon as we are done with this one. But final takes as we head into another 3-hour SmackDown coming up on Friday. And then we're getting closer to the Night of Champions coming up in Saudi. Anybody want to go to Saudi right now in these times? Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. Let's do our final takes. Tommy, let's start with you.
It wasn't a bad show tonight. Once again, they're getting some storylines over. But here's one thing I want from them: this King of the Ring, the match they had at the end. Can we just have a clean finish somehow without every frigging guy coming in the ring and disrupting everybody? Just give me a clean finish once. That's all I asked for.
And before or after they kick out of 8 finishers?
Yeah. Oh God, Coach. I mean, I can't believe it. Can we have an LA Knight not coming in, Braun Breaker? Can we just have there are 4 guys in the ring, great superstars, one clean finish? Mike Tyson lost, right? And nobody said nothing about it in boxing. You can lose, and it's okay.
You're right. Gabby, talk to me.
My favorite thing of the night, which makes me excited, is that the women were the highlight of the night for me with Bayley and Becky. So I love that we're going in that direction with it, which is something I've been wanting to see. I hope the storyline continues. I think Bayley is the best she's looked in a while, and I think Becky is that hated person that we kind of love, and I think Bayley's bringing it out in her, and they're bringing it out in each other. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I hope they write it correctly, and I hope they continue to make it a good storyline, because I don't know how much faith I have in it, but I'm going to keep watching to make sure that it happens. And yeah, we'll see what continues on for the Queen of the Ring tournament on Friday.
Yeah, that's kind of my final take too. As I watch it tonight, I am always reminded, and I don't like to pat myself on the back a lot, but I'm always reminded that just how good my takes are and just how good my analysis truly is. Because when I can affect Monday Night Raw from this gorgeous home office that I sit in every single day, that's true power. That's true stroke. That's true levels to this game. So Bailey, I know I'm going to get quoted. I know it's going to be out there from the last word, part of the behind the turnbuckle, and you're going to read it. Understand that I never insulted you. I insulted your character. That's different. TKO has taught us that. You guys are two different people. You're not one and the same. So I would like an apology, and I would like a thank you, because that big old chip, that coach chip that you had on your shoulder, you knocked it off tonight, and you did a great job, and I'll give you that. And that is how a heel cuts a promo right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here every Monday night live after Monday Night Raw. Also, do not forget, we have 3 different shows, Coach and Company, every single morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live on the Stadium Network, and also the Coach and Bro Show 2 times a week. You can be a part of the live recording of our Stadium Show on Mondays at 1 p.m. and also Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time as well. That's going to do it for Gabby, our resident superstar. For 32 years, Big Tommy seeing all of his fun facts for Dirt Sheet Dan. For Producer Man, I'm the Coach. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. There is only one. This is the last word. Take care.